Welcome back, I'm Jake Bruton, and today on the Build Show we are in Columbia, Missouri at our Spring Valley project. Now you've been here before, but today we're going to talk windows. I'm here with Patrik Muzilla from European Architectural Supply, and I thought before we talk about the specific window package here, Patrik, we would talk about who you are and what is our European Architectural Supply.
So we're one of the oldest importers of European windows and doors. Focusing really on the high-performance window and door products. And what we're looking at here is our Shuco UPVC window, triple pane, the highest performance window for net zero passive house buildings or just good houses.
Okay, so European Architectural Supply, you guys are based in Massachusetts. Is it Acton, Massachusetts?
That's correct.
Okay, and Acton is how far from, say, Boston?
We're about 25 minutes outside of Boston.
Okay, so if you're on the East Coast, now you have a frame of reference for where these guys are located, but we're in Columbia, Missouri, and they ship windows to us, and you guys ship nationally, correct?
That's correct.
And so the process for buying windows from you guys, say for this project, it started with us sending you our architectural drawings, and our architect, who's Steve Basic, had specs for the size windows that we wanted, and then we had a conversation about our performance goals, our needs on the exterior, on the interior, and then from there, you guys do what? You get our set of plans, and then what happens?
So we look at your blueprints, we look at the kind of windows you have, the sizes that ideally the architect would like to use. We don't only carry PVC windows, so we carry PVC windows, PVC in white, in color, aluminum thermally broken windows, wood aluminum clad windows, and even curtain wall sliders and some specialty door products.
Everything, basically.
Almost everything that you would want to potentially use from the European fenestration marketplace. And we look at your design and we can give you advice both in terms of engineering, of making somebody large openings work, in terms of the wind loading, in terms of the feasibility of doing something, and also in terms of managing cost.
And so at this particular project, I believe that we looked at an aluminum, but then we decided to go with this UPVC product because of price consideration. It wasn't a performance standpoint, it was just we decided that this was going to fit our budget for this home better than the aluminum would. And it certainly wasn't aesthetic, because I also really like the aluminum windows. I've seen the aluminum in person and they are fantastic as well. Here, this window package, that's me.
I'll make sure
that'll be a cut. Okay, now we go back.
How you selected this window?
So when we made the decision to go with UPVC windows, the next step from European Architectural Supply was shop drawings and an approval process that I have to admit, having mostly American-made windows or all American-made windows before these, and dealing with the larger companies in the United States, we didn't get shop drawings. We got a standard printout form that looks like every other window order that we've ever had, that we didn't have shops, we didn't have an approval process. It was just like, here's the windows that we need, and then they just send them to us. And it was very cookie cutter. And I have to admit that the process through you guys, from all of the options that they offer and the services that you guys include, it does cater to the client in a different way. And I think that part of that, and correct me if I'm wrong, part of that has to exist because they're going to put these in a container and ship them from Europe, and we're not going to be returning windows that were made incorrectly.
Exactly. So shop drawings, obviously, they take a little bit of time. You need to spend some resources to get them done. But shop drawings are wonderful because they protect us as manufacturer, they protect the architect, they protect the builder. Everybody makes sure they're all on the same page in terms of what is being manufactured. Shop drawings is also really good because we in a really accurate way summarize what sizes we're dealing with, what shim space allowances we're working on. And sometimes the project may include some really unusual, peculiar item, like we're lifting this window up a couple inches at the bottom because we're trying to place some special sill underneath. And it's very difficult for carpenters who show up on a job site to understand that the rough openings are sized in a particular way on this particular job. In our shop drawings, the second page after the cover sheet shows you the calculations of how we arrived to the rough opening size from the windows and the various shim space allowances. And it makes it really easy for the framing crew frame the house correctly and not make a mistake. Because you know, if you make a systemic mistake in 50 different openings,
Yep.
it's a lot of reframing to do.
It is. I think one of the things that we caught on the shop drawings that we were very pleased with as well is the shop drawings included the weight of each unit. This is not a double glazed window, this is a triple glazed window, and we'll talk about what that means in a second. But from a carpenter standpoint, one of the big things that means is it's a lot heavier than a normal American-made unit. And so we had to be planning ahead because of the way they ship, and we needed to know what kind of manpower or equipment we wanted to have on site. And that's not something that we would normally get. We don't even get that when we get large units from American manufacturers. So that was a great surprise for us, is that we're able to plan ahead. So
that's correct. This is important for us as well, because in many instances we're involved in material handling of the windows and bringing them to the job site. We need to plan manpower for it. We need to plan equipment for it. And it's just really good to know that this slider that we're looking at weighs 1,400 pounds because we specified laminated glass for it. When you look at the slider, you do not know it has laminated glass in it, right?
Yeah.
It's just unusually heavy, but knowing that this particular unit is especially heavy because it was a special glass package specified for it really helps you plan the manpower on our end and on your end as well.
So tell us a little bit about Shuco as a company. I don't think most people are familiar with Shuco in the United States.
Okay, so Shuco is one of the brands of windows we carry. It's one of the largest fenestration companies in the world. It's a very well-known brand in Europe and the rest of the world. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and they make windows for residential homes like this project, and they make curtain wall and aluminum window systems for 40-story skyscrapers. It's an incredibly sophisticated company in terms of its product offering, in terms of automation options, hardware options, and some really unusual cool things with modern fenestration.
And so when we started talking about Shuco versus maybe an American manufacturer that claims the same level of quality and glazing, one of the things that brought us back to Shuco time and time again, and you guys have been in business for a while, and Shuco's been in business for a while, and we don't have to worry about this company's going to vanish in 3 years and we're not going to be able to get replacement parts or something like that. We're dealing with basically one of the largest manufacturers in the world, and I don't think we have to be concerned about, well, there won't be availability of that part 2 years from now. That you know, maybe those concerns are unfounded with American manufacturers that are making the same quality, but we know these guys have a track record that we can rely on. So we talked about these are triple glazed, they're UPVC. I think we should look at the cutaway and we can just explore a little bit about what these windows are in particular.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, so what we have here is we have two cutaways. These are the same, they're just different colors. This is Shuco's Living series, which is what we have here.
Correct.
It's a UPVC, it's triple glazed, which means there are 3 separate panes of glass here. There is a heavy gas between each one to work as an insulator. The Fenestration Council style sticker that's on the windows here say that this unit at the center of the glazing is roughly an R9. And we know that that goes down when you get to the perimeter and you get the bar, the metal around the perimeter of the glass. But the center is an R9, which I live in a house, and I haven't told you this yet. I live in a house that was built in the 60s, and it has R7 fiberglass insulation in the walls. So these windows are better insulated than the walls of the current house that I live in.
Typically, these kind of windows are even better than a fiberglass bat that's labeled as R19, because the way our values for fiberglass insulations is somewhat favorable to the insulation.
The way
itself.
that they calculate it gives it a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, I'd rather live in an all glass, triple pane house than a fiberglass insulation.
Okay.
Whoa.
And the reason that these cutaways are useful, and these are my cutaways of your product that you guys provided me, because we're nowhere near your showroom. The reason these are valuable for me is both for training my carpenters and educating my clients. So walk us through what we're able to see in a cutaway like this, Patrick.
So the Shuco Living window here is really an incredible value in terms of cost and the energy performance that you get out of this. In fact, I think it is the most affordable high performance window out there. It's an unplasticized PVC extrusion, which is the highest quality PVC extrusion manufactured under a much less toxic process with the unplasticized extrusion process. The key to making a good window is to create a frame which is energy efficient, and this is the UF value that you're looking at, which is essentially the U value of the frame, the insulating value of the frame, and then the glass that you can put inside the window. Now, as you can see here, the European triple pane glass is much thicker than the triple pane glass that we typically see here.
Yep.
We have much wider spacers, which increases the overall U value of the window, or decreases it, right?
Yeah.
The lower the value
Yeah.
is, the better it is. And so you need to have a sash that can accommodate a really deep glazing assembly. And the tilt turn European sash is really well positioned to do that. This is an 82 millimeter sash, which you can glaze 1.75 inches of glass in the sash itself.
Which is a substantial difference from what we get when we get double glazed units, where it's just two pieces of glass. I mean, literally, we're talking about the difference in that. You know, like and that void for gas, we're doubling possibly or higher the R value, or lowering the U factor of the glass.
Correct. In North America here, you often see triple pane glass assemblies, which are half the distance that we see, half the depth in this triple pane assembly. So we have incredibly narrow spaces in between. The argon gas fill is really important. You have a 90% argon fill, and it just dramatically reduces the thermal, improves the thermal performance within the cavity as compared to being filled with just air. The other aspect kind of to look at is you can see that the PVC is divided into multiple chambers, which increases the energy performance of the frame itself. PVC frame has to be reinforced, so you can have larger windows in a material that expands and contracts with temperature variations. And so the steel is really important here and enables us to make really large windows. So a window 8 by 8 feet is not unheard of in a PVC frame. Most of North American PVC extrusions cannot handle windows of that size and glass of that kind of weight.
Yeah. I know that we had talked, we were at another job earlier that has windows that are comparable to the size of this house. And, you know, there's some windows here and there that are 5 feet tall and 12 feet long. And you're saying, oh, well, you guys have a very medium size window package. In that sense, if you were to talk to an American manufacturer, they would have a panic attack about sending something that's 5 feet tall and 12 feet long. And yet you guys are completely comfortable with it because the construction of the window and the construction of the glass is just of a different quality where it's possible.
Correct. And being able to do that in a PVC frame can save you a huge amount of money because architects are calling for large fenestration all the time, and in most other cases you would have to upgrade the window package maybe to an aluminum package or a curtain wall package, which is dramatically more expensive. So it's really good to be able to have the flexibility to accommodate larger units with the PVC product. The third aspect of the window we should look at is really the gasketry on this window. This is a triple gasket system with perimeter locking, gaskets on both sides of the glass, so there's no reliance on sealants or wet glazing. All of this is essentially high quality gaskets keeping the window airtight. And combined with the perimeter locking hardware, you should be able to get the lowest air infiltration possible.
Yeah, we were talking about, you know, if you look at a lot of swinging doors that have triple latching hardware and things like that, it only latches on the strike side. It doesn't latch on the hinge side. And when we were adjusting these earlier, you instructed us to just put your finger back there and feel the hardware, and you'll be able to feel it tighten down. And you're right, I hadn't noticed that the hardware locks on all four sides.
Correct.
And that ability to draw things in shuts down any air leakage, or a lot more air leakage than most window assemblies. I think the other thing that's important, because you mentioned cost of the UPVC windows, I know I get questions all the time. Yes, these are more than American-made PVC windows. You're paying for more, you're getting a different product. And let's be clear, the PVC windows manufactured in the United States are not the same type of thing as this. It's even a different PVC. Cool. So don't let the word PVC fool you. This is a UV stable product. This is not a 10-year window. This is a much longer lifespan window. But cost-wise, I had a local distributor price an American-made aluminum-clad wood on the inside window, and these were still more cost-effective than that, even though the performance factors of this are astronomically better. And I would even go as far as to say we have a couple 14-foot lift and slide doors behind us, and even after paying shipping from Europe to get all of that here in a container, those doors were about $200 to $300 a foot less than an American-made window, and the quality difference between this and the American manufacturers it's unbelievable. Once you've installed windows of this style, you'll wonder why we're still putting money into the American window manufacturers. Is there anything else that we should note on these, Patrick, or on our window package here that people just wouldn't know just at a glance?
So, one aspect that's really unique to the European window manufacturers is that apart from making the windows in white, which is the default color, they offer a great variety of foils to both add color and or wood grain to the windows. These are high performance foils that were in the market for over 25 years, so we have a pretty decent track record on their performance. And they give you a huge amount of aesthetic choices in terms of both color and the wood imitations. And the grains are so good that architects have a hard time on trade shows distinguishing them from our real wood products.
And the other benefit of that is, say we do a value engineered UPVC window on the whole house, but the architect wants a really fancy aluminum door, or we have a very specific entertaining space out back that we want an aluminum lift and slide, that raw color, RAL, that these guys adhere to, gives us the ability to have different products, even from different facilities, that match in color.
It's really great. Everybody in Europe has kind of agreed on the color scheme that they're going to work with, and makes it really easy for us to source silk component, custom bent sheet metal, PVC windows, wood windows, aluminum windows, and they can all match perfectly in terms of the color choice. And
even have things shipped off to a powder coater that doesn't normally make things for the manufacturer.
Exactly.
And we can get custom trim pieces and things like that.
Exactly. In fact, we're starting to see that all colors used even by North American aluminum powder coaters.
Okay. So I think that I'm really happy that Patrick joined me today, because I really wanted to introduce you guys to European Architectural Supply, and I wanted to give you a little bit more information on the UPVC windows that we're working with on multiple projects. So you're going to see more from us in the future. We have quite a few projects in the work, and we're ready to keep working with these windows. So Patrick, thanks for coming and visiting.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. Till next time, guys, follow them on Instagram as well, but follow me on Instagram. It's Jake.Bruton.